Philosophy upon Vampire Temple of Atazoth of the Sinister Halfway Triangle Order of the Order of Nine Angles. Part 2. The satanic points might be placed upon the keywords of dispassionate, strengthening, achieving, segmenting, harvesting, attaching, tact, unceasing, independent, practical, political, alchemical, opportunist, deflector, tragedian, aggressive, disturbing, supremacy, aesthetic, discerning, and thriving. The Order of Nine Angles can be said to have goals achieved over time: to work as a system, be more of a methodology, and about what each is bringing about. I understand that development means difficulty, but let's not pretend that difficulties must be caused for themselves. Reputation and group cohesion are part of what makes certain results happen, but it may take multiple people to do these things. People have real physical limits, as much as they are often more than people tend to realize. Not everyone will have close magical partners or be able to hang out in groups for alternative religious practices. Some very inferior people will find themselves at the top of economic, social, intellectual, and physical ladders. The point should be to have a series of heights of personal bests and go beyond mere opinions. Grades of initiation form an important stimulus and education for an organization. Much of experience is unverifiable, but some learning and performance can be tested. Neophytes, initiates, external adepts, internal adepts, master of temples, mistresses of earth, lady masters, grand masters, grand mistresses, grand lady mistresses, maguses, magistras, and immortals. Each have study, ritual work, and physical skills to employ. The individual will survive and be part of long-term change. Of what is beyond the personal sphere. They will work with their nature. They will experience aspects of themselves in their variety of alchemy. It is often the more difficult of available paths, and those who are meant to progress will be prepared to change your morals and ethics. In a way, the most occult is not occult. Take things beyond study to ritual, to a lifestyle. Some will refer to this as playing God. Certainly, some of these will be greater than some of what is said about gods and goddesses. The northern races have long known that, whether the night is short or long, we must admit to and embrace our own darkness. People often speak of what conflicts with what they like. This aversion can be used against them. Some will remain active in that, but it is likely the aesthetics that they don't suspect is that which will reach them. When a Satanist works with dark gods, they evoke themselves to be part of what was before the current societal constructions and will change. They do their part by effacing, drawing in, provoking, presencing, doing work that is not as objectively obvious, and convincing others. Towards more and more change away from the mundane control. I'm not going to get into any true Satanism arguments because Satanism is a variety of beliefs and practices. Yes, we need to challenge ideas of what the satanic is. Yes, we need to get beyond claims of final authorities and group acceptance. Satanism is not about left-hand path or right-hand path. Left hand of God versus right hand of God. Sure, but what does that mean? Games, stories, and stage-based initiations can reach us in ways that we decide are the otherwise unseen entities correct us with. On an October 7th, 33 years before the more famous action against the Magian occupation forces, Michael Aquino spoke of his authority to direct matters. But the Order of Nine Angles has a goal of directing people to realize and actualize their own path. Is Stephen Brown a name of David Mayak? He does use similar and exact phrases, as does Anton Long and some other author names. The Order of Nine Angles constructs myths to instruct the lives. The ethicists and the moralists will view these differently than the pragmatist. Others will follow the feelings, emotions, or associative psychiatric reactions. These involve the difference between group functions and differences regarding outsiders. Human sacrifice by any form requires taking spiritual sides. It should be with goals and timing. Victims must not be chosen out of personal preferences or goals that only have to do with one's life. Of course, there is the living sacrifice. I have previously referred to this in reference to the 21, 22, 17 thing. Regardless, this is not mentioned so that people will be captured as slaves for the Magian system. As much as people posture, the spiritualized executions are virtually always only by ritual, without them being present. So, why not just say, call of yourself first? Don't just do a ritual or ritualize something to have the experience of it. The Order of Nine Angles considers its actions as being those that improve or maintain humanity. It is to ease evil quests and proliferation of its forces. The most severe acts will be against the communal enemies of the plans beyond individual existences. They are done with a consciousness of the applicable sinister values. Sycophants, the undisciplined enemies of the accomplished, those who betray of their like, those who politically oppress the heretical, those who make a cult of themselves, and those whose membership holds back groups from their non-mundane functions, needs to be dealt with in some way. That being said, there are exceptions to those categories. Some expression is more about being different than either holding different opinions or disrupting a doubtful authority system. Some change their identity and clear themselves of undesirable character traits. Some of what is accomplished is not ethnically or spiritually productive. Some are in control in their abandon. The time is for there to be no occult teachings, but that doesn't mean everything satanic is meant to be for public approval and personal pleasing, or, just so people can see it or whatever. Let's drop the comparing how satanic one cult is and another isn't by ritual only or direct interaction. Spiritual warfare is not some witch's context, nor random lashing out at untested suspicions. I would propose that the forms of entities talk about include both the symbolic and the literal. Like if you've ever seen any of these entities or what appears when you operate some of these grimoires, it's beyond meaning. What we can agree on is that the language and indications involved from fiction, fables, and mythology are useful to get at truths that most never perceive. We are to be flexible and fluid with some changes in our ritual life. New rituals appear all the time, and some of the old ones will still be around. The point is to not just crystallize your corruption or make a cult of yourself, but to develop beyond copying. A spiritual master is a living word. And I think there may have been more problems with this program recording than usual, because there were several times, I don't know, it did something to the text. I had to click undo, and the switching back and forth between the program to read the text and the other had some pauses to it. Testing and practicing, adaptive and devotional, exploring and transitional, consecration and communion. There is meaning when you look at the colors that I use in some of these things. And yes, it relates to the septenary in a way.